Hello and welcome to Taya Talk. I am here with Taya Bootcamp graduate Erica Mitchell. Hi, Erica.
Good morning. Hello.
And we're talking fear today. What a fun topic.
Yes.
But we are actually going to we're going to dive deep into that because we're going to bring the stream in. We don't usually channel on Taya Talk, but I thought we would bring the stream in for some stream perspective on everything that's going on in the world right now.
Yes.
Some of you pay a lot of attention to that. Some of you pay very little, and it's all fine. There's nothing wrong with watching the news and paying attention to what's going on and being informed. But sometimes when we really get addicted to that information, it gets confusing because there's a lot of varying opinions right now, and it can be really scary. So we
Definitely.
want to address that with the stream. So Erica, how have you been?
I've been well, dealing with my own fear and anxiety on new endeavors. And so it's such a great topic to discuss, like how you move through these times and not let it affect, your personal life and things that you're doing in life. So, but I've been
Yeah.
doing well.
I think ask them anything you want when we bring them in. Erica, you go ahead and ask anything, and then everyone watching start typing your questions in. This is a little different than our normal Tide Talk, but if you watch our Claim Your Power Hour, you know what the channeling is all about and how it works. You type in questions, Erica will read your questions. Erica will ask some questions of her own, and we'll manifest this interaction with the stream to gain some clarity on everything that's happening in the world and how we should operate within it. So the way we start all this, you could always tell I get a little fidgety when the stream starts coming in. The way we do this is I will just meditate for just a moment. I invite all of you that are watching, unless you're driving and listening. If you're driving, you're probably not watching, but you may be listening. Unless you're doing something that where it would be dangerous for you to meditate, take a moment and do the same thing. Quiet your mind, do a little breath work, and set an intention to have a fantastic experience with the stream, an uplifting experience with the stream. And that's it. Let's do it. Let's bring the stream in.
Let's go.
We are here.
Hello. Thanks for joining us today.
We are responding to the asking of humanity at this time. We are coming in response to the questions that have yet to be asked. We are coming in response to the underlying vibration of fear that is very present. We are coming in response to the request for clarity. We will answer any of your questions and very likely more. For those that are watching this in the future, your questions will be answered whether you are interacting live or not.
Wonderful. In the current times, do you have guidance to offer? Um,
Our guidance is the same as it always is, because your current times, you are operating and flowing through polarity in your environment as always. It is just revealing itself in different ways, and certainly in what we refer to as vibrational flow, there are times that things heat up, so to speak. There are times that world events and things start to swirl around and present themselves in a way that is heightened in the fear factor, if you will. And that's because there's a vibration that is created that is in response to humanity's awakening. And you are all very aware that humanity has been flowing through a period of what you may call awakening, and in linear time for the past few years, certainly much longer than that. We do not operate in linear time. We operate as consciousness, eternal consciousness, which means everything that has ever happened and everything that is ever going to happen exists in endless layers infinitely. But what you are perceiving is linear, and you are perceiving this linear experience so that you can come to planet Earth in the case of humanity and experience a polarized environment. The environment will always be polarized because all physical environments are polarized. So you will always flow through a mix, a never-ending flow of what you may consider positive and negative. The discernment of positive and negative is a very, very valuable tool of expansion. And that discernment results for human beings, in this case, in discerning things that are your preferences and discerning things that are not your preferences. We sometimes witness some of you saying that you are not judgmental. You are all judgmental on various levels. Judgment is a vibration just like everything else. And you can certainly dip into being far more judgmental, where you are needing others to act or behave in a way that pleases you and is in alignment with your desires. And you can detune that. And in your detuning of judgment and systematic detuning of fear, you gain clarity. That creates, and in fact, that is all you need to do to create an awakening in your life, to systematically detune fear and judgment, because that which we refer to as the matrix is simply humanity's operating system. And understand that it is, again, vibrational like everything else. So there are some that are more rooted into the matrix, and there are some that are less so. You are all in it to some degree. And we're not judging you to we're not guiding you to judge the matrix. We are guiding you to observe the matrix. Because when you begin judging something, you lower your vibration. When you look upon something that is a human creation, whatever it is, and state that it should not be, you are becoming polarized because you are taking a one-sided view of something. Humanity, notice that humanity runs on one-sided views. You are either on the left or the right in the matrix. So what you see happening across humanity is a departure from the matrix. More and more human beings are questioning. The questioning, the not seating yourselves in polarity is what is creating this departure from the matrix. And the departure from the matrix is causing the matrix to fight for life. The human created matrix, even though you're in a polarized environment, that powerful matrix that is so steeped in judgment and fear, that is the operating system that humanity has ran on by and large for quite some time. So as more and more and more of you awaken and move out of the matrix, the more that matrix wants to hold you in it. And notice all of your elements that exist in your world that are designed specifically to keep you in the matrix. Look at this fear-based teaching. Look at this thing that's going on the perhaps the other side of your planet that we are presenting to you to instill fear. Because we want to draw you back into the matrix, because when you are fearful, you are under someone else's control. You are essentially, speaking of abundance or not, your being steeped in the matrix robs you of your power. You are not a powerful or as powerful a creator with your intentions when you are stuck in the matrix. As you lift yourselves out of the matrix and you understand that everything is vibrational. All creation is what you may wish to consider gray instead of black and white. There is no polarity in the energetic realm. And as a human being, you can operate your lives more in alignment with the energetic realm. And more and more and more of you are coming to understand what that is. That is universal law, the law of attraction and the law of polarity. That sums up the energetic realm. And the energetic realm is pure positive energy, because the energetic realm is a creative force. That is the creative energy that flows to all creation, that allows the expansion of creation, allows new creation. But when you pull yourselves down into the matrix, you're not as creative. You're not as solution oriented. You are moving through a template, if you will. You are operating your lives the way that you are by and large told to operate your lives. You are judging yourselves against others. You are judging yourselves against your own actions. You are fearful. You are confused very often. Understand, though, that humanity at one time was so steeped in the matrix, there wasn't as much confusion. You assigned yourselves to a set of beliefs, and those were your beliefs, and yours were right, and everyone else's were wrong. And there was comfort in that. There was comfort in that community. But this path out of the matrix is not without contrasts. All things are going to present contrast to you. And those of you that are deep into our teachings understand that the contrasts create the traction that you need to move up vibrationally. Moving up vibrationally is not just about breath work and meditation and feeling good and simply focusing on the things that you want and just being happy all the time. That is not a negative state of being. We're not guiding you away from any of those things, but you all well understand that when you are moving through vibrational flow, and you all are, that lower vibrational flow will create obstacles for you. And many of you are coming to understand that the obstacles that the matrix tells you to avoid at all costs, that well-developed portion of your ego that wants to save you from any disappointment or pain whatsoever, that keeps you from taking risks, that keeps you from dreaming big, that holds your feet to the ground in quote unquote reality. That is an element of the matrix. That is your vibrational connection to the matrix. So you are all breaking free from the matrix. And that journey is not one that is just rooted in ease. It's a bumpy ride, but that bumpy ride is actually propelling you further and further out of the matrix if you so allow. So when you're observing your world and you're observing everything that's going on that is there fighting for your attention, trying to instill fear, trying to create some confusion perhaps, understand that confusion is actually a sign of you lifting out of the matrix, because you're no longer willing to just assign yourselves to one side or the other. You are starting to appreciate both sides. There's elements of appreciation on both sides of everything when you're out of the matrix, because we appreciate all of it, because we are not operating in fear. We are not operating in judgment of any element of your world as should not be, because we see eternal beings focusing in an environment, in a very temporary situation that is an experience. It is just that. It is an experience. You come to planet Earth, you have an experience. But the matrix teaches you that that experience has to look like this. That experience has to be this length of linear time. That experience has to be this level of comfort. That experience has to be a certain level of education and employment and a certain type of relationship even, and a certain type of family structure. That is all the matrix. All of that is the matrix. at your core, you all understand that freedom and joy is what you're seeking. And in all things that the Matrix promises to deliver to you, it is all rooted in your desire for freedom and joy. But very often, it's simply a veil for fear. Do this thing to receive your freedom and joy. If you do not do this thing, you are not going to receive it and you are going to suffer. Think about how many elements of your world have that message at their core. So when that is the overarching operating system, rooted in fear and judgment, telling you that you're supposed to do this exact thing, every single one of you, even though you are all multidimensional beings, you are all eternal strands of consciousness, you have all been so many things and expressed in so many ways that each and every strand of consciousness is truly unique, even though those strands of consciousness are truly infinite. There is a uniqueness there. And this is a temporary journey. This is simply an experience. Where we are guiding you with all of this is to understand that every being is here manifesting a set of experiences. And yes, there are collective consciousnesses that are coming together and manifesting as vibrational neighbors, if you will, and having collective consciousness experiences. But their experience is really none of your concern. And this is not about turning a cold-hearted blind eye to things. We're not guiding you to do that as much as we are guiding you to understand that your appreciation of them exactly as they are, where they are, and what is going on will lift you out of the matrix and will contribute more to their experience than your judgment of that should not be.
Wonderful. Thank you. You answered questions that I already had in helpful actions, and it's the belief of should not. I really like that. So let's look at the comments. We have Diana Lilly here, Sam Page, hello, Luke, Joe, Cheryl, Spirituality Gone Wild, Catherine's here, and I'm going to butcher this name, Concetta. Hello, welcome, Leslie. Joe Zamora has a question in regards to the fact that he hasn't been able to meditate for the last 4 weeks since he's been on an antidepressant. Why is that? Why can I no longer quiet my mind or be still in my mind? I don't know if you have any guidance for that.
We will respond to that. That anything that you are taking that numbs you is going to numb you. We are guiding you through the feeling process. If you are under the care of a physician and you are giving that power and you are choosing that path, we are not going to label that as wrong or should not be. That's the experience that you're having, as in all things. But understand, part of that experience is not wanting to go through vibrational flow. The medication is designed to withhold vibrational flow from you. So it is not going to allow you to go into the low space where all of new creation actually begins to come together. And it's also not going to allow you to go to the high space. And if you are so troubled by your vibrational flow that you are choosing that path, we are not going to guide you away from it. But understand the contrast of taking an antidepressant means that you are going to be numbed from the high and the low experience. And if you are so troubled by the low that is your path, then that is your path. It is all your choice. Again, there is no right or wrong in any of this, but understand when you are numbing yourself, you are numbing yourself.
Wonderful. Just as, oh, yes. Thank you. We have another question from Gary. What happens if we decide to change or reshape the matrix? Will we disappear?
The matrix is always changing. The matrix is always in flux. The physical environments are polarized by design. You all express into physical environments for that vast polarity, for things that you really, really want to experience, and things that are obstacles, and things that you wish to avoid and not have as part of your experience. So that element is always present in any physical environment. But the matrix that we refer to is vibrational as all things are, and it is shifting and moving about all the time. The matrix is shrinking as more and more of you move toward universal law in your operating systems, your human operating systems, which is essentially your belief system that you run your life by. As it shrinks, it fights for life. It wants to come back around in different ways. The only way to completely crush the matrix is for all strands of consciousness that are expressing in your environment to come together and be one consciousness that agrees on everything. But what lies outside the matrix is all gray area. There's no agreeing upon everything because everything is appreciated. So if you were ever to achieve a scenario where you all come together and agree on everything, and you were all one singular consciousness, that would be a form of the matrix, but that would essentially cause its destruction. But a physical environment matrix is never going to be destroyed because you have so many strands of consciousness of infinite creation in that matrix, with all of these different experiences and all of these different sets of contrasts. And we do not guide you to past life experiences and exploration. You are certainly welcome to explore and give power to anything that you want to give power to. The reason we do not guide you there is because it is so very vast. And it's better for you to understand that your unique consciousness is an amalgam of all that you have been and all that you have expressed in and all that you shall express in. Because again, it is all happening simultaneously anyway. So that is like a point, a power point that is coming into you to power the being that you are perceiving yourselves as. But it's so much more than the human being that you are perceiving, because the human being is limited by design so that you can take all of that energy of all that you are and all that you shall be and project it into a physical vehicle. And that physical vehicle's consciousness serves to overshadow the vast majority of all of that awareness, so that your awareness is primarily focused on your human journey, your physical vehicle. So when you start thinking about all of these strands of consciousness essentially getting on the same exact page in physical at the same time, all agreeing on exactly the same path, that would be the destruction of the matrix. That does not happen though, because the matrix is again vibrational. There are always going to be beings that are in and out of the matrix. What you're seeing across humanity though is a massive shift in awareness. You have created so much technology in your world that you are able to communicate like never before for humanity. And in this ability to communicate, there is knowledge, there is awareness, and that shared knowledge and that shared awareness. Notice that more and more and more of you are moving toward things like what we are offering to you, the knowledge of universal law. And we are not coming and flowing through David in this way and guiding you to obey us. We are not guiding you toward that at all. We are not delivering a set of rules. We are not delivering dogma. We are here stating that those of you that have traveled far enough in your journeys and question enough and have enough curiosity are finding your paths to teaching such as this. And this is a unique set of teachings as being channeled through David. But the more you listen, the more you come to understand that what we are guiding you to is your own inner knowing. We are guiding you to the tools that already reside within you exclusively. And in guiding you to those tools, we guide you to listen to what we say, listen enough so that it begins to make sense. Sometimes it takes a little time on your part to do that. and apply it in your lives and see what happens. Apply it in your lives and see what happens. Apply an operating system that is steeped in universal law and understand that detuning the matrix, detuning your personal matrix, your personal belief system, which was created as your reaction to everything that you've manifested in your path since conception. Detuning the fear and judgment elements of that. There are elements that serve you very well, and there are the heavier elements of fear and judgment that as you detune them, you are then able to trust more. Where we are guiding you is to trust your own abundance, to trust that the universe is truly delivering everything that you will desire in this lifetime. You are the only thing that is cutting it out. But you placed yourselves in a path when you manifested in physical, understanding from your eternal perspective that that path was going to hold you away from some of that, that path was going to have challenges. That's because you project into physical for the challenges, understanding that there were going to be physical elements and things in physical that you wanted very much to experience as a strand of consciousness, because the physical expression is not matched in non-physical. The non-physical expression is your eternal state of being. It is expansive, it is loving, it is glorious. However, there's no contrast there, so there's no expansion there without projecting into physical. So the expansiveness of it is created in the physical expression. That's why there is no consciousness that is not delving into physical expression, including that which we are. And we are source. So when you start thinking of, will the earth environment end? There is a beginning, middle, and end to all physical experiences. But the energy that powers it, the consciousness of it, which is everything, if you had no consciousness, you would not care anything about the earth environment. If your physical vehicle was laying without consciousness, and you all know what that looks like and what that means, the trees and the birds and the fabulous experiences and all of the things that you all desire would have zero interest, would do nothing for you in that state. Your consciousness is what enjoys that. Your consciousness is what is seeking that out. And in the seeking that out, your consciousness is also moving through this polarized environment, through obstacles, through challenges, through things that scare the hell out of you sometimes. But understand your eternal nature and understand that anything that's going on in your planet, it is actually exactly the same all the time. All physical expressions have a beginning, a middle, and an end. All. But you have this fear of the end that is heavily laced into your matrix. And all physical environments are not like this. Yes, you have an ego that drives you towards survival to a point, but there's always going to be that end. And notice how much fear is instilled around the concept of the end of the physical experience. It is such a powerful tool for those who wish to control. Because you are all aware that that's going to happen to every single one of you. So as long as you're fearing it, there is this sort of ticking clock in your operating system of something that you are dreading, your departure from physical, because you are judging your physical experience very often as all that is. And it is not all that is. You are so much more than that. This is a weekend trip. And when you are done with this weekend trip, you will do it again and again and again and again into infinity. It's very egocentric to believe that you are so advanced that you're in your final human journey and that you are going to be merged as one with source and never be physical again. You are all merging more and more and more into the core of that which we are. However, understand, we are in all physical. We are expressing in all that is. If we are not withdrawing ourselves from the physical experience, why would your consciousness choose to do that? It would not, because the expansive nature of the energetic realm is expanded in the physical journey, in the physical experience. So that's why we guide you to notice that this fear of suffering and fear of death and all of these things are programmed into you. and you can deprogram that. You can stand in appreciation for every being's experience, even if it's something that's not your preference. We understand there are things that are not your preference. We understand very well that your preference is not to see people being harmed and children being sick and things of that nature. There is nothing wrong with that preference, because your desire to solve those things drives you forward. But when you allow the lack of that, or the presentation of the lack of that, to be your primary focus, when you are seeing one child that is suffering and not focusing on the millions of others that are not in that moment, what are you offering humanity? What are you offering to yourselves? And what are you offering to even the suffering child?
Very, very great. Thank you for that. We have another question for Cheryl. As long as I can remember, having natural ability to see multiple facets of any situation. When in our physical experience, how does one discern what is actually right for your experience at the given moment? Is it simply following your intuition? Or is there somewhere else we need to look?
The key to clarity is raising your vibration. This is why meditation has been taught for so long. Meditation is about quieting your mind enough, your chattery minds enough, your fear-based very often minds enough, your get it done mode minds enough. And that is a form of fear in of itself, believing that you must get all of these things done, and that getting those things done is more important than breathing into your quiet mind. Because when you breathe into your quiet mind and calm yourselves, your natural source connection, which is always there, we refer to it as a connection. It is in you all the time. You would not be in physical if you did not have source in you. But your human consciousness, your ego, the things that you are focusing upon, what you consider your mind, are you allowing that natural connection to be realized, or are you drowning it out with the matrix? So your intuition is your source connection. That is us, our energy, your version of this, flowing right to you all the time. And all you need to do is quiet your mind just a bit to allow that to be realized. And it's something that you can develop. But notice that your society, by and large, there are some sects of your society certainly that teach this. There are some sects of your society that teach meditation and without fully realizing even what it is, or what it allows. But that's okay, because there's all these different belief systems, and none are right and none are wrong. It is all gray. Whatever you give power to is going to work for you. So any belief system, if it is your solid belief system, is going to hold power for you. But where we are guiding you is having a belief system that is steeped in your own inner being, your own higher self, allowing that to be realized more and more and more in your life journey. How do you do that? Systematically detuning the things that hold you away from it, detuning judgment, detuning fear, detuning your transgressors, detuning the elements of your path that you continually, on a loop, judge as wrong. Because your judgment of that element, that person, that circumstance, or event in your life at any time as wrong is running on a loop in your subconscious mind, and is creating every single abundance block that you are experiencing, including your abundance of source connection. Because as long as you're judging that thing as should not be, and we are not judging anything as should not be, you are cutting yourselves off from us. We are loving and appreciating every element of your being and your journey, even if it created suffering for you, because we understand that that suffering is part of your human journey. And we also understand that every element of suffering, every element of human suffering, is essentially a matter of judgment and can be detuned, even though your society, your matrix, teaches you that that's the last thing you should do. Because if you appreciate it, you're going to repeat it. If you appreciate it, you hold deep understanding of it. There is a difference between judgment and observation. Where we are guiding all of you to is to understand the matrix, observe the matrix. Don't judge the matrix. Don't judge those that are more steeped in the matrix than perhaps you believe you are. Just observe it. Learn to be an observer without being as judgmental as most of you have been programmed to be. The matrix is a system of programming, and it is fed to you in your social media, in your news media. It is fed to you in your schools. It is fed to you in your religions. It is fed to you in your cultures and ancestrally and all those things. And just observe it. Understand that if you go back 2-3 generations, how obedient those generations were by and large compared to what you see now. And understand that that renaissance of civil disobedience, if you will, that started about 50 years ago in your time, and started this turning of humans stepping out of the matrix more and more and more, questioning the religious teachings, questioning the government. And now you see questioning of gender identity, questioning of borders, questioning of your currencies. You see questioning of everything. This term came about 20 years ago in your time of disruption. The tech industry came up with this idea of disrupting industries with technology. What is more disruptive than questioning every single thing humanity believes? And moving through that disruptive quality of possibly judging the matrix to simply observing and appreciating, but not allowing yourselves to play in the matrix as much. Understanding that universal law is all you need to understand. That's all you need to know, is operating your lives in accordance with universal law. You are creating your reality. You are attracting every single thing that is happening every second of every moment. And you have all the way back to conception. It was all a vibrational match. But understand that when we speak of law of attraction, and those that are just beginning to delve into it believe that you sit and dream of something and it instantaneously appears, and that the second you dream of something and it doesn't instantaneously appear, the whole thing must be garbage. That is too simplistic a view. We guide you to the other part of the universal process of creation, which is polarity. Polarity is why you're attracting unwanted things. Polarity is why you attract cancer and poverty and abuse and all of those things, because your vibrations are not static. Your point of attraction is moving about all the time, because you did not come here to sit and dream of something and have it pop up outside your space. Was never intended to be that type of creation. Universal creation can be instantaneous, and universal creation can take time, because you're moving through vibrational flow. And notice the things that you believe are easy to create in your lives, you do create with great ease. Over and over and over again, you show yourselves these little signs every single day. But you hear one person talk about how they create XYZ with such ease, and then you try to do that and it doesn't work for you, and you disbelieve. Instead of going inward and understanding and making your operating system one of great understanding of how you create, not to judge yourself and how you created that unwanted thing that still haunts you, but to gain understanding, gain clarity of how that occurred, so that moving forward, you can detune the fact that you manifested this unwanted thing through appreciation, because it all exists to serve you. And you can be more intentional with what you create next.
Wonderful. All right, we have time. We'll do one more question. So we have one from Joe Tuplin. In our Earth's ascension, we will rise up into 5D consciousness of telepathic, clairvoyant, psychic, and intuitive abilities, or will many get left back in 3D? Some say 2024. Any thoughts?
The path. Understand that the concept of 3D and 5D is a human created concept. It is a human created concept to describe that which we are describing to you, which is your path out of the human created matrix of fear and judgment, and operating more in accordance with universal law, and understanding that anything is possible. Anything is possible. Humanity is capable of so much more than humanity is allowing itself to believe at this point. But that's okay, because this is where humanity is in the journey of humanity. The idea of anyone being left behind in 3D is a bit of an egocentric idea, that some are moving to 5D and are going to have all these magical powers and others are not. And it's based on a belief system or a behavior. Again, it is gray. There is, if you believe there is a 3D and a 5D and you are in one or the other and others are in one or the other, that is the matrix. That is the matrix. Because even in spiritual teachings, there is a lot of ego laced into a lot of spiritual teachings. There are teachers that are still placing themselves on a pedestal. I am wise. Listen to me. I am going to tell you how to operate your life. Follow me, and all of that teaching. And it's understandable how spiritual teachers end up there, because they have something to offer of great value, and they begin believing in their own grandiosity, if you will, and they place themselves there. But notice that polarity generally is going to knock them off of that pedestal at some point, because you're all operating this way. So the belief system that you are going to go through a journey that's going to graduate you to this higher realm of powers while others are left behind, we would guide you to go more into the gray area of all of that and understand that you are all a collective consciousness. You are all reading each other and connected to each other telepathically all the time. And you're all somewhat aware of it. You certainly understand when you meet someone, if you are in a low state of vibration, you are likely meeting your vibrational match. And very often that vibrational match can be volatile. That vibrational match may just simply not feel good to you. But when you're in a higher state of vibration and you come across something that is possibly not your vibrational match, you're not judging it the same way. You're an observer in that state. And being an observer in that state, keeping your vibration high, is not going to keep you in the presence of a being like that for very long at all. It is a temporary experience. We have described this as today's evidence of yesterday's vibration very often. That's because everything is vibrational. It is moving about up and down all the time. So when you're vibrating at a higher state of being, you're not as judgmental about brushing up against another that is not in the same space as you, but you're also not going to stay in alignment with them unless you lower your vibration to be in alignment with them. Very often, when you are judging that being as they are having an experience that I do not wish to have for myself, that's instantaneously going to lower you into their vibration, where you have less to offer them anyway. So your pity and your judgment of someone else should not be having this experience or should not be left behind is actually going to take you right back into that. That takes you right back into the matrix, so to speak. The path out of the matrix, the path to 5D, is loving and appreciating all beings and not concerning yourselves with where they are vibrationally, whether you identified as 3D or 5D or 12D or whatever. Those are all human created terms to make sense of the energetic realm. The path out of the energetic realm is always a path of appreciation of all that is.
Beautiful. Thank you. Do you have anything else you'd like to share with us?
We have offered quite a bit. We generally end up in an interaction such as this in guiding everyone who has watched this to watch it a few times, because there are multiple layers of information that have been offered here that you will absorb over time. But if you are vibrationally aligned with participating in this and absorbing this, then perhaps you may discern a preference to watch it again and again and again, and to see the other nuanced information that you can glean from this. Because if this feels good to you, if it makes sense to you, even if it challenges you a bit, even if you are a bit confused by it, that was heady, that was a lot. That was a lot of information. It is our promise to you that if you are here in this space, you are vibrationally aligned with it. You absolutely possess the ability to grasp it fully and apply it in your lives. So we always guide you to go back into the recorded versions of these teachings and listen a few times and really allow it to sink in, really absorb it, because it is here for you. With much love, that is what we have.
Thank you. Welcome back.
I came back thinking we're both glowing. It must have been a good session.
It was always
And my coffee's still warm.
very good.
Sometimes I channel and I come back and the coffee's ice cold and it's like, oh, some time. Well, I'm not sure exactly what all transpired, but
Yeah.
I want to thank everybody that was on live. Um, I think I'm supposed to talk about Patreon for a minute. We are creating a community. We're creating the Stream of David community on Patreon. So you can go to patreon.com/the Stream of David. And we're going to be offering a lot more content in Patreon than we've ever offered across social media. And the intention there is to bridge the gap between the stuff we do on social media and the bootcamp community, and offer lots of different levels of participation over there. I know there's lots of questions around that. What I will guide all of you the way the stream does. Detune the fear around all of that. It's going to be a wonderful, wonderful place where we are able to share a lot of content and offer coaching like we've never offered it before. Our intention is to serve humanity with the stream's message and allow all of you to come and join. There's going to be a lot of stuff in there that is not going to cost you a dime. If you don't have any money to invest, it's fine. If you can, we appreciate it. If you can join a tier and receive the extra content from that tier, there is deep gratitude for that. It helps support this message. It allows me to do this all the time.
Yes.
And it's not about David's yacht. David is a yacht, so let's do a Patreon. No, it's not about that at all. It's very team focused, as a matter of fact. It's very much about the team and myself getting the stream's message out in a way that we can continue to create this content. And the focus is to insulate ourselves from any censorship. It's kind of becoming a thing now. The Matrix Fighting for Life is wanting to censor content, and Patreon is a great place for us to go and start building our own community our way, offering everything in one place.
Yes.
Ultimately, it will be our website, but right now it's Patreon, and it's just going to be this fantastic place where everybody, whether you're just discovering the stream, you just love hearing the channeling, or if you want to get into some coaching with our coaches, if you want to get into boot camp, if you want to work with me, there's all these different levels in there that you can choose from. And it's very transparent. You jump on, you jump out, you do what you're aligned with. I love the vibration of it. I so love the vibration of it. So I'm excited to have it. We're getting going. We launched it yesterday. There's already content in there. There'll be new content coming in there almost every day. The coaches are there. Erica will be there. Everyone that you've come to know in the group. If you're watching us, wherever you're watching us, we're not leaving anything completely, but the Facebook group will probably I don't know what we're going to do with the Facebook group yet. We're not going to do as much in the Facebook group as we always have because we really do want everybody over in Patreon. But the YouTube channel, we're going to continue to post clips of the stream in the YouTube channel. We're going to actually do more of that. The podcast, the video version of the Stream of David podcast will still be on YouTube. The Stream of David podcast will be wherever you're listening to the Stream of David podcast. There will be channeling in there, and we're going to put a new podcast out almost every week. The expanded version of the podcast is something we've never done before. That's new, and that will be available to Patreon subscribers. And I think once you subscribe to that, Rome knows this better than I do, but it actually you can get the expanded version wherever you listen to the podcast. Once you're a subscriber in Patreon, you then get the expanded version also. So if you're listening in your car, you'll get the roundtable discussion of what the stream has shared in that episode also, I believe. And then the live channeling, we're going to do 2 shows a week for the live stream level of Patreon. We're going to move the Claim Your Power Hour over there with Debbie. And then we're going to start doing a weekend morning show, probably a Sunday morning show. Kat and I used to do this years ago, and we called it Sunday Service. She said it was like her church.
Yes. Such a
without
wonderful
It's going to be a service without worship.
Yes.
Come in the stream on a Sunday morning. Why not, right?
Right.
Have your coffee, have your tea, come be in that space with everybody over there would be fantastic. And then we're going to do the summits. Last year we did a lot of stream summits where we allowed people to buy tickets and come on to the summit and really interact live with the stream. We're going to offer that anybody that subscribes to Patreon at any level on March 26th. We're doing another summit. So you can, if you subscribe to that level, you're going to get an invite to the March 26th. It's from 1 to 3 p.m. Pacific live stream, and you will be on Zoom with me and everybody else that's on there. I don't want to commit you to that, Erica, because I don't know if you're
Oh, I think I might be in town that weekend. I'll have to double check, but yeah, the summits are just great. They really are. They're super high vibe, and you just get so many people coming in with wonderful, wonderful questions. So
Yeah, and it's cool to it's nice to be able to ask questions, and obviously there was a lot. I'm looking at the comments. There's a lot of fantastic questions today,
yes,
and I can feel that it's summoned powerful energy from the stream. And so thank you all for all your questions. But yeah, if you join Patreon and join any tier from the, I think there's a $10 tier, $25 tier, $50 tier, and then we're going to go from there even. But any tier, if you join right now in the next few days, you will get a ticket to come into that Zoom on the 26th and be able to converse face to face with stream, so to speak. Well, this is the stream's face. Sorry. The stream's face doesn't look like Brad Pitt, but that's okay, right? So I'm at peace with it these days, for sure,
oh,
more
it's
so
a
than
great
I was
face.
before then. I'm letting the beard go gray. We're getting the
Yeah,
gray beard. I just turned 54, so I might as well start looking 54, right?
there you go. Yeah.
So anyway, I encourage you to go check it out. When you log on there, there's all the tiers at the top. You can scroll past that and go down and see the content. Everything posts in there, and there's free content and there's paid content for the different tiers, and it shows you what all that stuff is. You subscribe to the tier that you want to subscribe to, and if you do subscribe, you'll get a ticket to that March 26th summit. And so we're launching that all week. So just jump on to our Patreon, check it out. And I just want all of you to know that we're here to serve you. We are here to offer the stream to the world. We will do that in all these different ways that we always have, but we really want to combine everything into one community over there on Patreon. So everybody that's into the stream is in one place. And we have a whole lot of people that just aren't into Facebook and don't want to be on Facebook. So we're taking a lot of that stuff off of Facebook and putting it onto Patreon.
Yeah,
So
it's really awesome. And I'm excited for the different levels of interaction that there is to offer. I know you mentioned yesterday and again today, never before have you done the coaching. And so that's going to
yeah,
be,
the coaching tier, it's called the Taya team, and you see the pictures of most of the coaches are there. We're adding some new coaches too. So the Taya team tier is $50 a month, but that is gives you group coaching and posts from the coaches almost every day at the $50 tier. We've never offered Taya coaching outside of boot camp before. So I'm very excited about that. So if you're not really ready for the big boot camp journey yet, then that coaching tier gives you the group coaching, and then also you can buy coaching packages from the coaches. But that tier gives you a chance to get to know the coaches, get to know what they're all about, decide whom you would like to work with. Maybe if you want to buy a package of coaching, then you can do that, and you can do that outside of boot camp. And we've never done that before. And then ultimately, we are going to move boot camp onto Patreon also, and we have a new reboot of boot camp coming up that we're starting open enrollment for. Really, it started yesterday, but
oh,
I'm
nice.
enrolling the first person in it tomorrow, and we're
Oh,
going to teach boot camp live in starting in April. So
oh, how
anyone that wants to join Taya
awesome.
Boot Camp, there's two components. One, it's more affordable right now than it has been because we're doing this live version again.
Okay.
And we want to talk to you about it. So if you're interested in Taya Boot
Yeah.
Camp, you can book a discovery meeting, talk to Brent or myself, and find out about how that works. It's going to be more affordable than it's been in the past, more accessible, and it's going to give you more control over your boot camp experience. Boot camp just turned 4 in March.
Nice.
And in 4 years
Birthday.
of teaching boot camp, we realized that it's not a one size fits all as nothing is in this world. I've always been very critical of our education system.
Right.
I had dyslexia and I was sort of left behind in our education system. And
Hmm.
it's a one size fits all system and it doesn't work for everyone. Well, boot camp is not a one size fits all thing either. It's very personalized, a very personalized journey. And what we're doing is we're noticing, how it was structured before, and how not everybody has the same needs. And now we're structuring it differently, which allows us to make the costs lower for boot camp. So we're lowering the lowering boot camp. We're doing all of these things because we're able to have Patreon. We're able to do all this stuff. So that's what it's all about. So we're offering you tons of value over there.
Yes.
You can donate there if you want. People have always donated to us, and I do appreciate it. If that feels good to just donate, that's great. But I love to give value. I love to give content. I love channeling. I love
Yes.
that the coaches are always wanting to give, 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 give.
Yes.
So we're doing that over in Patreon, and there is something for everyone over there. I promise you
Yes.
that. And any
Yes.
problem that needs to be solved, Leslie, I hear you. I know Maitland, who posts all the time this morning, had questions. These questions and you being transparent with your fears or concerns is fantastic, because every time, if I'm in my morning meditation, I come out and I see somebody is concerned about something, the solution is right there.
Yes.
And this morning, there's something else popped up. Maitland, who likes to post to the Facebook group, said, "Can we post?" Yeah, you can. There's a way to do that. We're going to actually allow people to be contributors, and the
Oh, that.
contributors will all contribute at the free level. And anybody that wants to interact over there will be able to post. All the posts come from us, but we'll
Yes.
create this
Right.
banner that has their picture and their name, and let everybody know this post came from them. And then you can comment, you can like, you can do everything just like Facebook.
Oh, that's
So
wonderful.
yeah, it's a community. It's the stream
Yeah.
community. Think of our Patreon as that. So I want to thank everybody for participating, and all of you. We had a lot of people on today, so thank you all for watching. Erica,
Yes.
I know the stream didn't give you many words, but you
No,
did a
it was
fantastic
fine. There
job.
was just, they had so much to say, and usually that's what I just love, is just letting them, they already know, they already knew my questions, really. So it was great.
Well,
It
I
was,
appreciate you so much jumping on with me.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
always fun to have you on, and I appreciate you so much. So, everyone, thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you over on Patreon. And if you're just coming in late, I know the stream offered a lot in this interaction. So go
Yes.
back and watch wherever you're watching. The
So
replay will stay up. So
much.
check it out.
Yes. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.
Bye.